It was refreshing to be around people who didn't see me as one half of a pair. They got me out of the house, made me laugh, and helped me feel a bit more like myself again. I won't lie and say I didn't think about Hannah. I did, a lot at first. But as time went on, those thoughts became less frequent. I started to see the breakup not as the end of something but as the start of something new for me. It was a tough lesson in love and life, but it taught me a lot about myself, about what I want from life and from a partner. 3 years passed quickly. I graduated from college, got a decent job, and even moved into a small apartment. Life was good, stable, and Hannah became a distant memory, a part of my past that helped shape who I am but no longer held any power over my present. One evening, I was at home doing the usual after-work routine. I had just finished eating dinner, a simple meal I cooked myself, and was considering what to do next. Maybe watch some TV, or catch up on some reading. Then, out of nowhere, the doorbell rang. It was around 7 p.m. I wasn't expecting any deliveries, and my friends usually text before dropping by. I walked to the door, flipping the porch light on as I went. Peering through the peephole, my heart skipped a beat. It was Hannah, standing there as if the last 3 years hadn't happened, as if we hadn't ended things on a note that still made my chest tight when I thought about it too much. Seeing her there was like being thrown back in time. Hannah, with her casual stance, looking expectantly at the door, probably imagining a different kind of reunion. One where I'd throw the door open with a smile, happy to see her. But that wasn't going to happen. I remember standing there for a moment, frozen, not sure what to do. Part of me wanted to ignore the doorbell, pretend I wasn't home, and just let her leave. But another part, the part that had spent years with her, felt like I owed it to both of us to face this. So, I took a deep breath, unlocked the door, and opened it, but I didn't step out or invite her in. I just stood there, looking at her, waiting for her to say something, to explain why she was there after all this time. The look on her face told me she hadn't expected this kind of reception. She seemed taken aback, maybe even a bit hurt, but there was also a hint of the same confidence that had driven her to make the choices she did back in college. It was clear she had rehearsed this moment in her mind, expecting a warmer welcome, expecting that enough time had passed for old wounds to heal, or at least be forgotten. There wasn't much to say, not really. I was still processing the shock of seeing her, and maybe she was too, in her way. She said she wanted to talk about us. My first reaction was confusion. Us? What us? There hadn't been in us for a long time. Not since she decided that college was her time to explore and left me trying to piece together what was left of my self-esteem and our relationship. Hannah began talking about how she had changed, how she realized she made a mistake by letting me go. She talked about wanting to start fresh, to rekindle what we had. I listened, not because I believed in what she was saying, but because I needed to hear her out, to understand her reasoning. It was clear she hadn't thought about how her actions affected me, about the pain she caused. She talked as if we could just erase the past few years and pick up where we left off. I wanted to scream, to tell her how much she hurt me, how difficult it was to get over her, to rebuild my life without her. But I didn't. Instead, I calmly explained that too much had happened, that I couldn't just forget and move on. Hannah seemed to struggle with my response. She couldn't understand why I couldn't give us another chance. I listened, more out of shock than interest, as she outlined a future for us, filled with plans and promises. It was as if the years apart had never occurred, as if her actions and choices had no weight or consequence. The more she talked, the clearer it became that this wasn't just unrealistic, it was impossible. In the end, I simply told her that what she was asking for wasn't something I could do. The person I was with her was a memory, just like the relationship she was trying to resurrect. After Hannah left that night, word got out fast. I woke up the next morning to texts and missed calls. They were from friends, a couple of cousins, even an aunt I hadn't talked to in months. The gist was the same: Hannah's back, and she's upset. What did you do to her? It took me a minute to get my head around it. How did so many people get involved overnight? I spent the morning just replying to texts. I tried to keep it short. Hannah and I haven't been together for years. She made choices, and so did I. I'm moving on. That was my go-to response. Some replied with a quick okay or a thumbs up emoji. Others wanted more. They asked questions like, but didn't you love her? Or aren't you being too harsh? It was draining.